Hi, so this tutorial we're going to look at reverse engineering a commercial track. I'm going to take an example from my drive. I just drop it in here. So this is a finished track which we're going to analyze and basically make a whole lot of temporary blank parts to illustrate what's going on in the track. The first thing we're going to do is what we want to do is to find the BPM. It's almost certainly not the default Logic 120. The simple way, I'm going to try using a BPM counter here. It's in the Logic metering. So like it seems 126 should do it. And then we can kind of see now, you can see with the bar numbers if that's actually roughly the right time. Yeah, that seems right. So now what I'm going to do is line up the beats. It doesn't matter at all where you start it. It just matters that it's going to make it simpler later on if it's kind of aligned to an actual beat, just like that. Try a bit more. What this means is that it's going to line up with the actual sequencer bar lines and so on, which is going to make it easier later on to try to map out what's going on. You can see here, even if go right to the end, and it's still in sync. So it means there's no tempo changes or anything really here. It's the same tempo right through, and that's going to be easy. There could be that there's a tempo change in the dance music, not in techno and trance, but some music there might be a tempo change that's going to be a bit more difficult to figure out. The other thing is that there could be a splice which makes it go off of the actual bar lines here. If someone, I mean, you do it more in rock, if someone added in like a fraction of a beat, then the rest of the track is going to not line up to these markers. But in techno trance, it's pretty straightforward, so you're not going to have that problem. We can check that now just to see if it's so you can see it's lining up now nicely with the sequencer tempo. So now what I'm going to do is basically we want to get an overview of this track and what's going on and when. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of blank MIDI tracks. We can try, I don't know, try 12, just as an idea. And what I'm going to use these for is just creating a rough idea of what's going on to get a visual overview. I'm not going to recreate the MIDI notes. I'm not going to recreate the sounds here. I'm just going to create the arrangement. So we can start off with something simple like let's say the kick drum percussion, and I'll make like 16 bars because it'd be like a standard kind of dance music length. And so can I call this one the kick? So you get an idea. I mean, and it's just a matter of skipping through the track to figure out where those parts are existing and are not existing. But I mean, kick drum, okay, it's going to be basically it's going to be basically everywhere. I should have renamed that first. So, I mean, we can see from the waveform, the kick is pretty much everywhere, maybe just not in the breakdowns. Like that, so I don't have a kick there. That, and then goes on till the end. that. So like that. So basically, that's the very simple process of what we're going to go through now. The next thing would be the bass line. Yeah, so the bass line is pretty much the same as the kick. I think the most of it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard techno. The bass line doesn't really stop. It does stop there in the breakdown. That's about it. So, okay, like that. And then what else have we got? Yeah, hats. Hi-hat. Again. So there's a hi-hat there, but then there's an off-hat, like a ride there. I'm going to call this hi-hats, which to mean this one, this little rhythm, and then I'll do an off-hat for the that one, where it kind of expands. So the off-hat is kind of the main hi-hat. Yeah, okay. So is it, I think these are gone in that part. Yeah. And again, that's there. Ah, okay, now we go back to the other one somewhere. Yeah, there. Okay. And then there's a ride cymbal as well coming in here. And then it's back to this one at the end, so. Up to there, right. So the other one then is this ride cymbal. This is a pretty standard kind of techno sound. This is this distorted on the same rhythm as the off-hat, but with much longer sound. That one there that comes in here, I think. Yeah. Like that, and then does this ride cymbal come in somewhere else? Yeah, that comes in here. Oh wait, let me just make a different color first. It comes in, where does it come? There. That. And out again, and does it come in here? No. Or anywhere else? No. Okay, so that's the ride cymbal. What else have we got? There's a little high bass part. It's actually the same as the bass, I guess. Yeah, we're probably not going to have the sub bass and the little high bass parts separately. I mean, just for completeness, I'll stick it in, but it doesn't make a lot of. It's probably, you can, it's simpler enough just to say it's the bass combined. So let me see what else is there. So there's these like synth parts now we can go into as well. I'll take that little high, is it 16th note stab. goes up to here. A different color. And then does it come in somewhere else? Yeah, it comes back in there. I think it might be. Yeah, it's in the breakdown, so it comes right in the start of the breakdown. And it goes on until the end. So do that. Just to make it look a little bit simpler. Okay, that's that synth stab part. Now what else is there? Yeah, there's this kind of call and answer kind of thing going on there. Now, rather than do one track here for each of those sounds, I could just do one track and say it's probably like an 8-bar pattern. So it starts there, I think, and so it goes to there. Yeah, that's pretty simple. This, yeah. So that happens there. Does it happen again? Oh yeah, it comes in here again. And how far does it go? Yeah, it could be that some of those are separated then and playing again at the end. So I'll just leave it like that. I think that'll show it anyway. That little bell and the kind of pluck sound that comes in here. They're different than those. So there's a little bell one. I'm not sure if that's just happening at the end. There's also a single note kind of hit. So this is it gets a bit detailed then when you go into the individual synth parts. I was going to try and group it a little bit more so that I wouldn't have to map out absolutely everything, because there's probably 40, 50 elements in a track like this. So you don't have to map out all of them, otherwise it's too painstaking. It can be useful to figure out exactly what's going on, but just to get a general idea of the form of the overall arrangement, you don't need to map out every single little sound. It's just more to do with the sections to see like this. Okay, how many parts are playing at one time? How does it build up and drop? And then it's building up again here, and then it's dropping, and then you have the breakdown, and then the end. You can see it's very systematic. I mean, there's no real surprises. There's no tempo changes, anything like that. So that's kind of what you want to be just concentrating on, the minimum to figure out how to basically recreate something in the same style. So that bell sound I was talking about is, there's a little pluck, which is I'll call it a pluck, which is the one that comes in there. So it comes in there, and there again, and there, and does it keep going? Yeah, it's still there, and there. Okay, so it does continue on after the main climax part. Okay, and then do we have that anywhere else? Yeah, it's there as well. Yeah, there. Okay, so that's that. And then there was also a bell-like sound. That one. That is there. Bell. It goes on there. Does it keep going? There was another pluck sound in here, but I'm not sure if that's the same as this one. That is, okay. Okay, so that is that one there. Right. There's another stabby synth. It's not it's like 16th notes, but it's got a rhythm. That one there. Stick in that one. So you can hear it fades in. Kind of from there, so I'll put it in like this. And then sometimes what I would do is just have maybe like you could have a separate color to kind of show that it's not quite, that it's fading in kind of thing. If you have a system like that, you might decide that, one color has more energy. I would sometimes have it like that that I can tell that there's a slight difference in those two. That I know that's not completely fully in there. It's still just fading in. The whole idea is so that later on you can look at that and be able to recreate or know what's going on in the sound without having to pull out the track and actually listen to it. So you kind of know that, okay, well, it's going to fade in over a certain number of bars as well. This is the important thing to be able to figure out, to have an idea of just generally how long each section is and so on. And once you get a feel for it, then you don't have to have any kind of reference anymore. You can just write from left to right, just start here and just go right across in a few hours and basically know where you are in each part and know what's going to come up and have a plan in your mind ahead to what's going to happen. What else have we? That stab part, it probably comes in at the beginning. Yeah, we got it again here and there. Okay, so it's there and there as well. And that's it. Okay, so that's... I know, what else have we got? I guess there's the snare clap. Didn't really bother to make a separate track yet for it. But the clap goes right through the whole track. There's not much point in mapping it out here, but we can, just for completeness. It was pretty much the same as the kick and the bass. I think it just goes right through. Even in the breakdown. Okay. I'll do another one. And then what else? There's kind of a swell there, kind of a synthy swell. Just sort of a little build. Okay, do we have it anywhere else? Is that the same part? Yeah, it's the same part. Show it over here. So it kind of develops there later on. So the beginning part is just a little bit of an introduction. And then it develops here. And that's that. So this is the whole point of doing this, is that you get to see how many times, for example, a part is used. Is it going to be used just once? Or is it going to be used twice? And then if it's used twice or three times, where and how? That's kind of half of it's a good part of this process is to be able to figure out then. It helps your technique to be able to see where someone else has used something, say 2 or 3 times, and then you can see, okay, what a gap there is between them. And sometimes you might have something at the very beginning, at the intro, and then at the outro, or just once in the middle of the track somewhere. It depends on the element and the style and so on. So doing this is a good example to figure all that out. Probably have some other parts in there. bell and the pluck we have. That 16th we have. There's a pluck in there, so I don't know if that's the same one as this. Yeah, I think that's the same pluck that was that I was talking about here. I think that comes in there. There, like that. Yeah, I think there's another kind of a swell part that comes in there on top of that first one. So either it goes up in the register, it hits a higher note, or there's a second part. Yeah, I think there's another one, so I'll just... Or this one's actually that even the higher. That goes on to there. Does that come in? I think that doesn't come in here. Or in fact, even the one at the beginning is the higher one. Ah, maybe not, no. Yeah, something like that. So basically that's just a very quick overview. There's going to be tons of other little parts in there that I haven't found or mapped out yet, but the whole idea is just to get a rough overview to see how long are the sections. And here you can see the sections are like 16 bars. How many of them are there? And how long is the breakdown, for example? It's here, it's typical 8 bars. In trance, it could be a lot longer. In techno, hard techno, it could be a lot shorter. You might not have breakdown at all. And you get the idea of where parts come in and out. So you can see here, it's pretty much the kick, bass, percussion, hats even, it's pretty constant right through it. It just changes the hat pattern for the energy. So the energy in this track would be like going up to here because you're just adding more and more parts, and then it breaks down, and then it's going up again because you're adding more parts, and then it breaks down, and then you've got this easy pad part going into the breakdown. And this is also very useful here, that you continue with this, whatever part is playing just before the breakdown, as long as you can continue with that into the breakdown, it doesn't sound like you've entered a breakdown. It sounds like you've dropped out of the drive, the kick, bass, percussion, and it's just a natural thing then to go into this breakdown with this pad sound, whatever synth sound, whatever is going on at that time. If you change here and you go into something completely new in the breakdown, it's going to sound really abrupt. So this is a good point of layering it across the breakdown. And then it begins again, builds up, but also this time you could see that it's coming in pretty hard and pretty fast with all the other parts, and then it switches very quickly to the harder off hat part, and then the ride cymbal and everything comes in. Normally after the breakdown, you can just, instead of that, you could have quite easily like have all of the percussion and everything just coming in straight after the breakdown, rather than building it up again, because it's been built up here, demonstrated the different parts of the track enough times. You don't need to build it up again. You can build it up during the breakdown, but when it comes in for the final climax there, you don't really need to build up like here, like this. I could probably have dropped that and, like I said, go straight into the harder percussion parts. Yeah, and then there's probably a little break in the percussion around here to allow the DJ to be able to actually cue and start the next record basically in sync. So they're not, and they're. So there is that break in the kick and the bass. So the DJ is going to be looking at well, if you're a DJ, you already know this, but the DJ is going to be looking at the waveform on their CDJ, and they're going to see that there is a breakdown coming up. There is a breakdown here, and that's this is their last chance of queuing off the next record. So it's good to have like these little breakdowns, especially during this climax part at the end. There could have been one here even. to allow the DJ to get a good fix on where they are in this at the beginning of this section, 16 or 32 bar section. If it's just continuous beats right up until the end, then it's very difficult for a DJ to align the next track with these sections. This part is basically just for the DJ to mix out of and mix into the next track. I mean, you've kind of said everything you want to say by here. You know, that's the peak has already been reached. To allow a kind of a smooth transition, you don't want to start adding new parts in here, because the new parts are supposed to come from the next record, and vice versa. The beginning is just, it's like 32 bars of nothing here. There's just a few synths and that's it. The track doesn't really start till here. So that's also just to allow the DJ to be able to mix this track in. The other arrangement tip is that the first beat is actually normally quite useful for the DJ to use as a cue point. They're going to save that in the tractor or in the CDJ, and basically that's where they're going to go back to every time they start to remix or mix that track in. But sometimes you have the big, long, drawn out kind of pad intro and a track, and then it goes right into it. And so in order to be able to mix that in as a DJ, you need to have some reference here, some beat. That the simple way of putting it is that if you want to have a big slow intro like this with no percussion or anything like that, then you're going to have one beat at the very beginning. So it would look something like, I take that away. Yeah, so it would look something like this. You would have one beat like that, and then you can have your pads as long as you want, and then the track starts somewhere else. But it means that the DJ has a chance with this one beat at the beginning, that they know that that's a reference point. They can actually use that at the cue markers on the CDJ or in Tractor. And they know that if they match that up, that eventually later on, after, X number of bars, the rest of the track is going to mix in. They can mix in this big pad part, and then the beats are going to sync when it actually does come in. So that's just one idea. If you do want to have a big, long, slow intro without the percussion, then just give the DJ something to work with. Give them one beat or one snare hit or something at the beginning so that they can actually line it up. The other part is, what do you do with this? Like once you've got this, because this is like kind of, it's just blank MIDI. So I'll just what I'll do is normally I'll take a screen grab, like a screenshot of it, and make it sort of presentable to myself. So important is to know the BPM. Actually, if you keep that in the screen grab, it's handy. And as long as you can see the bar numbers as well, that you can kind of see, well, between 1 and 17 is 16 bars. So you can see from the smart ruler that you know that this is 16 bars. So as long as you can see how long these sections are from the ruler, you can see the BPM. That's about it. I mean, I would just do like that and take a screenshot of the whole thing. And that's it.